What's up, demo class? Good to see you. Happy Monday evening. All right, first things first, make sure that you got your belt tucked in today. We're going to be working with our tools. Just to give you a heads up, take this time for the next couple of moments, scrounge up your tool, find your sword, your staff, your chucks. Now, one of the things I want to make sure that you guys are all going to be aware of, you got to follow mom and dad's rules. So the stuff that you're going to practice today, it might be without the tool in your hand, depending upon what the rules are at your house. So if you're practicing your chucks and mom or dad said, well, I was only practicing outside, well, then you might be limited that way. Feel free to be able to do it with an open hand. Sword and staff, we're going to be doing some stuff with that today too. But ultimately, there's going to be homework that I'm going to assign with your tool. So just make sure that you're ready to write some stuff down. And if you miss it, of course, you can always check out the YouTube post when we post this video. All right, but first, let's get started warming ourselves up. Let's turn to the side, fish uniform. Say, sir. And we're going to look good. Belt tucked in. And fish front. Say, sir. And chip. And belt. Please teach me. And teach other. Please teach me. All right. You guessed it, basic form for a warm-up, but we're going to change things up just a little bit. All right, so first things first, Mr. Ben, I'm going to put you in the very center. Say, sir. Okay. The goal is going to be basic form. All right, now, you're going to choose how you're going to have this first rep. What's the version you're going to practice your basic form for everyone to copy at home?
Say, sir. I'll never move.
I never move. Okay, so I want to hear you. I'm going to hear Mr. Ben, of course, and we're facing on one of our directions in our room. Ultimately, there's going to be 3 other directions beyond this, so make sure that you got room in all directions as you need. All right, yep. All right, Chumbi as a move. Here goes. Let's just start this warm up. Chumbi. Hey, ready? Hey, 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 get on. Hey, you around? Hey, 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 hey. Hey, Kia! Hey, 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 and Chumbi. Hey. All right, so real quick, we're going to do a different version, but I'd like to hear some responses. What's your favorite version? It could be breaking style, a ballet style. All right, type it in for Miss Joanna. Give me something that you'd like to practice your form, so that everyone's going to participate in that version. Anybody out there? They're typing. They're typing. Fastest fingers. Enter. And AZSXD. Okay, what? Jellyfish style. That might be a little bit difficult for everyone to conceptualize. So let's do a different version. Let's do breaking style. Okay, we'll come back to jellyfish style. All right, we'll have to practice that. All right, where's your middle block? Jellyfish. All right, facing towards a new direction. Say so. Yep, and breaking so. Every single move, I should visualize there's a break right in front of you. That includes Chumbi, that includes all your middle blocks. So don't think to yourself that this is a break. I want to see that there's a broken board that exists on every single move. Ready? Chumbi. Ready? Break. Pop, pop, boom. Good follow through. Every move is a break. Every move. One more. Get it out. Bring it around. Good. Big follow through. High blocks are always hard. From the guts. And Chumbi. Oh, good one. Okay. All right. I love this submission. Anybody else have a favorite version of practicing their form? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ballet style. All right, face this way.
Say, sir.
All right, here's the challenge at home. So now you need to get to Chumbi when Mr. Ben gets to Chumbi. So I want everyone at home to see what pace you're going to use. All right. Breathing is going to be part of it. So you're going to hear his breath. No doubt when you're hearing the breath, that should be at the strike, right? All right, so you'll hear a key eye. You'll hear a couple key eyes, a couple beacons to know that you're in the right spot. Sounds almost like a demo, doesn't it? So when we do demos, you can't say, wait a second, what move are we on? You should be like, keeping up. All right, so show them the first 3 or 4 moves, the pace that you would be going. Nothing too fast. Okay, so just watch this pace. Go ahead. You got a middle block, nice and smooth. Oh, there we go, like that. That's good pace right there. 2 more moves. Middle block and all right, block and punch. Okay, that's good enough. That's plenty. All right, so everyone sees that at home. All right, when I count and pace, I want you to start, and I want you to be at that same pace. If you need to look at Mr. Ben, then you can, but you should be listening to the breathing. All right, so make sure you breathe. All right, yep. And Chumbi. All right, nice and loud. Ready? Hold form. Nice and distinct breath. When you get to this ki, you're not going to stop. You're going to keep going. The entire movement here is go from ki to the spin around middle block. Ki, right away. No breaks, no pauses. Keep the dynamic stance. Make sure you're keeping your eyes up. Chambers. I want it all. Good. Getting close to that second ki. When he ki-eyes, your ki should be there too. Kia. Good. Almost there. 2 more moves. Then you got you and me. Did they make it? Yeah, you're going Good. Again, you don't always get a chance to see where the next person is. Sometimes you just got to feel it, and from the very beginning, you kind of walk into their pace. Okay, one more version, Mr. Ben, your choice on this one. So we got breaking, we got ballet, we did regular style, stance style. Okay, so hand on the hips. Okay, all right. So we did this direction, that direction. We did this one, so we're now facing toward the front.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, so now since Mr. Ben is making stance, we're gonna make it a little more extreme. So none of this like, all right, this is my horse stance. I'm like, no, it's not. So I want like all right. So hands on the hips. So when you step in and step out that back stance, I want to see this. Ooh, okay. Let's get back into that back stance. Wait a second, I need a break. And no bobbing, no bobbing. Okay. All right. So this will be on my count. Allow you to feel the full worth of the stance.
So
all right, chitty up and to me. All right, before I start, because Tony, you're going to verify that I've got people on a nice low horse stance. And they're not going to be saying, "Ha, Mr. Erik can't see me." But in fact, there you go. So you give me the thumbs up. Okay, here goes. Make sure I see good feet coming in together. Ready? Brings it in and brings it out. Back stance. Toes 45 from the back. Step, don't bob. Oh, Mr. Ben's got a good one. To the side. Keep that low stance. There you go. Step up, line block, and punch. Nice work. All right, bring it in center. Step out with that down block. There's in and out. Shoulders are square. Now, Mr. Ben's going to do a great job of keeping the height. He's not going to rise up when he throws the snap kick. Ready? Oh, good. He started something a little bit vicious. Kick and punch. Oh, he's doing a great job. All right, hopefully you're keeping up. Kick and punch from ki. All the way around. You do this long enough, all of a sudden that doesn't hurt anymore. Looking good. There you go. Back nice and straight. Good. Excellent posture. So what I don't want to see, show them what I don't want to see, because it is hard. It is hard. So you kind of go, I don't know what that does for you. All right, this will make it easier.
So you said
All right, but you're off balance. There you go. Bring it in and bring it out. All right, front stances all the way back, shoulders square. Nice deep stances. He's got good C steps. In and out. There you go. One more big and get up. All the way around. Middle block. Looks, look around, back stance. Looking great. How's that back stance at home, Miss Joanna? That's okay. Mr. Ben is he's doing the work for them. Is that what it is? All right, give yourself a heat. Give yourself 2 claps. Okay. All right, so you know what? Might as well just give the gift that keeps on giving.
Sorry, sir.
Is some hardcore legs.
Because
if we didn't get the hardcore legs during the stance, I have to help you. You're reaching out saying, Mr. Erik, please help me. All right, I would do it anyway because I love you. All right, so let's do some hardcore legs. So first thing first, we'll do this facing towards the camera, and you'll do it facing towards us. So make sure there's nothing side to side for you, because that's where this kata is going to go. All right, so first things first, we're going to bend our knees and we're going to make sure our back is straight. And we're going to bend our knees enough to the point where our heels almost want to come off the ground, but don't let them. Guards up, and we're going to count to 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We're going to step out with the leg that mirrors you. Again, tuck in your butt a little bit and bend the knees and count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Here's a tough one. We're going to take this side leg, cross it. If you haven't done this before with us, this foot's facing towards the camera. This foot is going to be facing inward, and the knee does not touch. You're not down here relaxing. Your knee is up, and your guards are up, and you count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You're going to turn away from the camera so our behind facing towards it, and tuck in the behind and count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You know, this side leg is going to cross in front, so we're going to come across, and it's facing away. We're going to bring our knee down. Don't let it touch, and count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Turn towards the camera and tuck in your butt and count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Last one, this leg, we're going to slide in back to where we started, bend the knees and count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And shake a leg and shake a leg. Miss Joanna's giving me facial expressions back there. Why would she do that? Only because she's happy, she's ecstatic that you were performing at the highest level that I would expect. What are we seeing, Miss Joanna? They took a break is in like, what do you mean took a break? They stood up. Well, here we find a limitation, okay? I'm going to digress just for a second. This really brings out who is truly dedicated. The people that are truly focusing on their development as a martial artist. I can't go to your house and say, hey, do it better. I can't stop what I'm doing, call you up and say, hey, get some push-ups. That's on you. That's your heart that says, you know what, I'm doing my best or I'm not. And so this is where the limitation lies. When you're in my dojo and I see you not trying hard, what do you think I do as a good coach? I put my finger on you and you feel that pressure. Now, hopefully you feel pressure on yourself. I can't make you feel it though. You have to kind of take it in. Right? So if you think that you're doing your best, then well done. If you think that you're not, then check yourself. Because I can't do it for you. And I'm not going to discipline you for it because I can't reach in through this phone and say, hey, get it in gear. But I can, from the back end, see that you're not trying. So it's up to you to do your best. Moms and dads, doing a great job at home putting them in front of this TV. I need your help to make sure that they're doing their best. I know Mr. Liam's dad puts out a lot of pressure. Hey, get that stance in there. Shout out to Mr. Liam's dad. Right? When Liam is not getting down to that stance, I'll tell you what, dad is right there saying, I want to see, get that hand on the head. So well done, sir. Moms and dads, I need your help. Okay? Otherwise, it'll be just my words versus theirs. And they might say, you know what? I'm not doing that. That's the equivalent of me having someone in the karate school. And if I say, someone be lazy, get 2 push-ups. Would you ever say, no? That'd be a bad day. Do you agree with that?
Sir, yes, sir.
But here we are. So, when you're not doing your best, know it. We're going to move on.
Thank you.
Okay. Matter of fact, let's sit mock assault. So, think about that. All right. 30 seconds, eyes closed. Have a seat, Mr. Ben. Say so. I want you to think about that. How do you want to train? You know, I got some youngsters and watching a class that you don't have the ability to have the discipline for yourself quite yet. And that part I understand. That's why you need to borrow off of mom and dad. They got that ability to see things that you can't see. But my higher ranking guys, right, like my, say, green belt and above a little bit, and definitely brown belt and above, and black belts. Now you should spank yourself. 3 seconds. Mock slowing the eyes open. Okay. Think about how you want to train. Are you a martial artist that only trains on Tuesdays and Thursdays? And I come in for demo. I got that day too. Or are you a martial artist that trains for life? Are you trying to learn something that is a life skill versus, well, go out and do demos? That's not the kind of martial artist I want to teach. I want to teach someone that is trying to better their life. Not, well, I got a great character. Okay. Mark, so me. Yep. Okay. Are you ready to work out?
Say so.
Are you guys ready to work out? All right, here goes. All right. So we're good at our basic form. So first things first we're going to need to do is we're going to secure a tool. All right, so Mr. Ben, I'm going to have you secure your chucks.
Say so.
And Miss Joanna, I'm going to have you secure your staff. Now, no one's in the back watching you. So if you're being lazy, sloppy town or whatever, then that's, you know what, that's gonna have to be okay. Okay, all right, so first things first, I'm gonna have you guys bow into the camera and please teach me. All right, so first thing first, I'll put Mr. Ben over here. Hey. And Mr. Ben over here. Hey. All right, we're gonna be focusing on some basic techniques, starting off with something that I'm gonna say pretty much like a foundation of the staff and the foundation of the chucks. Right. So what would be the most essential part of having control of the staff? The most basic move, what would you want to say out of anything that you know?
Okay, come on.
Okay, so pull back there. What would be the most important thing that you want to see out of chucks that these guys could be practicing at home with their chuck?
Full arm movement.
Okay, big arm movement. All right, so now let's say you're one of the guys that can't swing the chuck in the house, no big deal. You got an arm, and I'm pretty certain that mom or dad are okay if you swing that arm around. All right, so I'm looking for full arm motion. All right, so we're doing a 1-to-1, okay? And what I want to see is holding this kamae and putting it back into the pocket. Holding this kamae and putting it back into the pocket. And you notice when she's aiming that tool up, she's aiming it right at your nostrils. And when she brings the tool back to her head, she's aiming at your knee. And that's what you should be doing the same, okay? So let's see it back into the pocket and back at the head. All right, now, what I want to see for the next 20, 30 seconds is this big movement and this kamae back and forth. 1 and 2 and 1, and maintain the stance and maintain the stance. All right, 30 seconds, go ahead. All right, big circles. All right, just going back and forth. And the important part with the staff is that she's not doing anything other than rotating her hand here. And this hand right here is going from blocking the sun like swallow corn chop, and then she's bringing her hand to her hip. All right, Mr. Ben, got that big circle going, his guard's up, very good stance. He's maintaining this nice clean line all the way around. Very good. All right, 10 more seconds. Hey, looking real good. That's it. 5 seconds. And great, very good. All right, changing up. All right, now I'm going to have you relax just for a second.
Say, sir.
All right, so you're going to get back into that kamae. All right, what I'm looking for is from this kamae that you're going to be able to put it back into the pocket, and I'm looking for a cross step and a step. Okay, and then back to the kamae, and then pushing off the front foot and hopping back and hopping back. All right, so cross. 1, 2. Back to the kamae, goes 1, give me another, and 2. All right, give me 3, going forward.
Yes, sir.
Crossing once, hopping back twice. There's 1 and 2. Good, again. And let's see if we can get one real big, good, strong hop back. Zoom, there we go, good. Good. Almost there. Big cross. Back to the kamae, there's 1, and there's 2. Last one more. Very good, and well done. Okay, all right, you can relax and submit up.
See you, sir.
Okay, so now we're going to change the tool to close position. Right. And what I want you to think about are all the basic shapes. So if I was to say to you, I want you to strike like this. I want you to strike like that. I want you to strike like that. Something basic like maybe high block, middle block, down block type of motions. Okay? All right, so give me a high block with the chucks. Right. Boom. Okay, now he's decided to hit with this part of the chuck. That's definitely the part that I like. Okay? Definitely. Oh, no, hold on to that thing right there. Right there. Okay? All right, so let's see a walking style high block. That's going to involve the chucks. Now, this guy doesn't have any. He doesn't have it. There's no chuck. All right, so don't be spot focused on the tool. So let's see a high block at the side that has the chuck first. All right, there's 1. Other side, give you a high block on that side. Boom, and one more time. Boom, and then slide it back. Right. All right, so it's a walking style high block. When you're using the tool, make it appropriate. Now, show me the technical version of like back in white belt days. Okay, good. We got good hand position, and the meat is facing towards the strike. It looks great, but he's not doing anything with the tool. Right. So you got to put that in and say, whoa, wait a second. Go back to this. Hey, I mean, it's wrong. All these years I told you not to do this. I must be wrong. Or I could say, well, you know what? This makes sense. So you're going to change the shape based upon what you're doing. Say, all right, so give me some walking style high blocks. Say, sir. All right, ready? 1. 1, sir. Other side. 2. 2, sir. And 3. Get up. And slide back. Hey, you know what, Scott? Come on back. Yeah. Let's have you join in on the fun because just because Mr. Ben has a pair of chucks, sorry, what's happening next there? Okay. What's your version of a high block? Yes, sir. This might apply to how we're going to practice this. Give me a high block. Get a shape of a high block. All right. Rotate right there. Guess what that is there, black belts and demo guys? This is a high block. All right, so now, can you give me a walking style version of that?
Yes, sir.
She's thinking. She's thinking. Okay. All right. All right. Go back to your collide from the arena here. Okay. Is it possible that you could go boom like this and bring the tool to the side? So that, I'm going to go like that. So I'm going to strike with this thing. All right. So bring it back. Now just think about. I'm going to rotate you just a little bit here. All right. Here goes. Now just open that hand up. All right. So this is where this is going to apply. All right. Boom. Good. High block shape. Doesn't mean it's blocking. It's just the shape that you see. But there it is. Okay. All right. Now can you do that 3 times? Okay. All right. We're going to step with a strike. Bang! There we go. Good. Now, other side, of course, might be a little different. If she can switch as she likes and then step and strike again. Just like that. All right. Now, I might as well get my sword out here because I know I got some sword guys that are probably like, what about me? All right. So I'm not going to need my side for this. All right. So when I do my first cut in my beginning set, and then I say Kia, and I step back, and I go, shoot. What do you see? High block. All right, so I'm going to do my version of high block. You're going to do your version of high block. And you're going to do your version of high block. And you're going to do your version of high block at home. So you do 3 up and 3 back, and you can change it. Please don't feel like, oh, wait a second, I got to do this version. We're trying to give them some information about how they can practice it at home. I might practice it just like this, going back and forth. So when you're practicing it, just as long as it follows the shape. Okay, we'll do 3 up, 2 times 3. All right, ready? 1, 1, 7. Good. 2. 2, 7, and 3. Yeah. Good. Slide it back. Keep those guards up. Keep those guards up. All right. I want to see it at home. Here goes. One more time. Ready? 1, 1, 7, 2, 2, 7, and 3. Yeah. And slide it back. Guards up. Guards up. Guards up. Okay. Looking good. All right. Now, moving on. I like to see the same kind of thing for a middle block. What do you got for a middle block, Mr. Ben? Boom. Okay. Now, let's open the chuck for a second. Give me the same move that's going to strike. Back, okay? Same big dynamic movement, okay? Just because the chuck is closed doesn't mean that it's limited to that. All right, middle block. Okay, looks like the same posture we just had. So it even matches the shape of that middle block, right? All right, can you do the walking style? Go ahead. Oh, the lovely switch. Okay, I don't know if I can do that switch with mine. I might be missing a couple fingers afterwards. All right, but again, I'll just use this shape that I have. So as I make my cut like this, I could say that's a middle block. I could say that's a middle block. I could say that's a middle block. I could turn my tool. All right, so I know Christian, I got some other guys that are watching some of this. I like to see that you have, big dynamic movement in this. All right, so your version, my version, and your version of a middle block. He has a 3, 2 times through. Again, change up the shape as you feel appropriate. All right, here it goes. Ready? 1, 7, 2, 2, 7, 3. Get up. Next, slide back. The tool up. Okay, here goes. One more time. Ready? 1, 7, 2, 2, 7, 3. Get up. And slide back. Good. All right, you guessed it. We did high block. We did middle block. What do you think? Tiger thrust, right? Yes. Okay. All right, down block. What do you got? Boom! Oh, man. Now, form doesn't show us that. I mean, we have to take that and be like, that comes up to our imagination to be able to say, oh, I see there's a big follow through. But we hit the brakes. Now, you don't want to hit the brakes with this because you hit yourself. All right, can you do it with it close? Say, sir. Okay, what's that going to look like? Okay, so again, he's using a different part of the tool. So feel free to use whatever part of the tool that you want. Every part of it has its value. Just like this part. For me, the Kashira, just because I'm not going to poke you with my Kasaki doesn't mean I can't say, here's my down block. Boom! Oh, wait a second. The down block always finishes here. Well, that's where you learned it in the beginning. Okay, so again, down block could be the cut or me striking on the way down. And there's that shape right there. All right, down block. What do you got? Yeah, okay. And then do you have a switch on the other side? Okay, go ahead. All right, so we're doing a slide, okay, which we're going to be practicing in a second. All right, 3 down blocks, 2 times through. Last one, here goes. Ready? 1, 7, 2, 2, 7, 3. Yeah. Slide back. All of them down blocks. Here comes. Ready? 1, 7, 2, 2, 7, 3. Yeah. Slide back. There we go. And out. Thank you for teaching me. All right, give yourself a hand. Nice job. All right, I'm going to borrow you for a couple moments. All right, Mr. Ben, you can go back there and check to see how everyone's going back there. I'll be pulling you up in 1 moment. Say. All right, now, Joanna,
Yes, sir.
This is going to be something that's going to be very interesting. I'd like to see what everyone can gain from this, because we're going to be focusing on switching. And we're going to be focusing on sliding.
Okay.
So, as you know with the chucks, it is a tiny little thing. You're not going to slide the way that you're going to slide on this. All right, and you're definitely not going to have the same kind of switching.
Okay.
But we are going to focus on keeping contact. So when you practice this at home, this is something that I really encourage you to practice just by itself, is the switching of the tool. Okay? Can you give us a version of that, nice and slow? Okay, now notice that her hands high and low, one's on the bottom and one's on the top. Miss Rennie used to have us do this all the time. It's like, all right, I'll tell you when to stop. And then 10 minutes later, maybe, still doing it. All right, so it's a little bit of lift and then switching the hands. Go as slow as you can. All right, they're going to pass like two ships in the night. She's not going to grab it. Notice that she's only holding onto it with her thumbs. Okay, other side. Good. On the other side. And two more. 1 and 2. Now, it might feel like it's just kind of floating. If you're gripping this at home, you're probably going to feel like it's very difficult. It's like, give me a grab and try to slide it. Almost like, it's like, someone puts super glue in your hands. All right, can you give me 3 in a row? Quickly. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't look like she's just gliding. She must have like parquet in her butter, in the palms of her hand, All right, but when we're practicing this, I want you to think about how we're going to switch and strike. So I'm going to face you to the side. Okay, so let's say we're in this position, and she wants to strike with this side over here. Maybe there was a blade on that side. Some of you guys understand what I mean. So in other words, you have to switch it. Right? And then there's your poke. And you've seen that in your NPT, right? Okay, now switch it back. Okay, and switch it back one more time. And poke. Okay, so now the switching part I want you to practice just by itself. But here's a drill that we can practice this with the switch. So we're going to go switch and poke, switch and poke, switch and poke. So think about a strike this direction and a strike this direction. All right, now my chuckers and my swords, same drill. So if I have my pair of chucks, I can focus on striking here and striking here and striking here and striking here. Swords, I've got myself a bunch of different ways to practice the same drill. This tool just requires a lot of, I'm going to say, use of the tool for movement. I have to transition from one end to the next. She doesn't have a position that is, she's not stuck in a grip position, whereas if you look at the sword, you're, I'm going to call it committed to not touching the part that's sharp. So if I look at this part right here, well, I can't slide on this. I'm stuck on this end, but that doesn't mean I can't use the same versions, okay? All right, so let's see, a 5, you're going to go back and forth, so striking to the front and striking to the back. So it's just going to be a strike this direction and then a strike this direction. And for sword, I'm going to give them a couple variations. I'm going to slide back a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use this part, I'm going to use that part, back and forth 5 times. Going forward first. Ready? 1, 2,
1, sir.
2,
2, sir.
3,
3, sir.
4,
4, sir.
and 5.
Good.
Okay, now let's throw one more thing in there before we switch gears. So I want to see your head turn before you do anything. So I don't want to see that you're going to go, oh, I'm sorry, Fluffy. I didn't mean to put you, in half. All right, so we're going to look before we hit them. All right, so look to the other side 5 more times. Ready? 1,
1, sir.
2,
2, sir.
3,
3, sir.
4,
4, sir.
5.
Good.
Good work. All right, last thing. I'd like to see a version of your slide. Slide. Okay, so now with the slide, this is the same kind of thing that you're going to try to say, I need to get to the other end of the tool. Okay, so the switch part is going to be something I want you to practice. Give me a slide. 1, 2. Now, slower. 1, 2. Just face the whole thing towards the camera so everyone will see your hands. Okay, slide to the middle, slide to the end. She's going to cap at the very, very end. Slide to the middle, slide to the end. And she's going to cap, which you can't see, she's going to cap that. She's not going to go here. Go ahead, show me what not to do. All right, then it's easily able to move. Okay, capping it, it's hers. Okay, all right, give me a slow slide. 1, 2, capping. Slide, slow. 1, 2, capping. Everyone good with that? Okay, swords, I cap. I bring my hand to my pinky to the bottom. Okay, all right, so for my staff, the homework of switching and sliding, I want you to be comfortable with that tool, moving up and down the tool. Show them what not to do. Get to the other side. All right, give me. It's funny because there were once a day that that's the first thing Mr. Granny had me do when I joined demo. He's like, let's see what you know, and he puts a staff in my hand. He says, all right, we were spotlighting, and I get out there, and you've only seen the stuff in the movies, and I was just like, I had no idea what I was doing. It was trial by fire. But when you're moving around the tool, just make sure that you guys are moving about it in a very thoughtful way. You're not simply just switching your hands, losing control of the tool. If she's not doing it properly, then I'm just going to knock it out of her hands, and that's definitely not what you want. Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Very much for teaching me. All right, and I'll have you relax for a second. All right. So next thing we're going to do. So now, Mr. Ben, go and grab your chucks. So far, we've gone over a couple of different variations of some blocks. We got high blocks, middle blocks, down blocks, and different shapes that we've got with that. And you've got yourself some sliding and switching with the staff, with the chucks. All right. So now, with the chucks, I'm not interested necessarily in you making these big movements that you have with the staff, but you still have to traverse from the top to the bottom for different things. All right. So now, what I'm looking for with the chuck is a basic crawl and a slide. Okay? Same concept though. Okay? Now, can you give them an example about why you would be at the very end?
At the end, you want for your power strengths.
Boom. Okay. So, would you do a hand roll from there?
Yes.
Okay. Can you show them what a hand roll would look like with the chuck down there? Nope. Probably not very successful. Okay. All right. Now, let's get ourselves all the way up to the very tip. Now, tell me what this is designed for.
This is for your finesse, your small ratios, your hand rolls, your flips.
Okay, would you do a power swing with that hand all the way up there?
No, sir.
Okay, I don't think you guys want to see when Mr. Ben pinches his fingers. All right, just show them what it would look like that. When he's swinging down, their fingers are right there. It's going to pinch the finger. Okay, so when we're down at the very end, we've got the most amount of chuck, and this thing is going to follow through. We're not going to hit ourselves that way.
Right.
All right, and then you've got yourself all the way to the tip. And then in the very middle, we have ourselves the kind of the neutral grip, the happiest of places where you can get a lot of things done. Right. All right, now can you give them an up and down version that shows that you're crawling from the bottom all the way to the top?
Right.
All right, go ahead. He's crawling his fingers, and by the time he's done a couple strikes, he's all the way at the very top. All right, now show them from the very bottom. Can you crawl without moving it at all? I mean, without like swinging. So hold it out in front of you just for a second. Okay, so we're at the very bottom. We're going to crawl ourselves up to the top. Can you crawl backwards? All right, and crawl back up to the front. And do that about 50 times, and your fingers start talking to you. You're like, oh, okay. All right, all of a sudden we're frozen. But as you're practicing, you should be practicing the slides and the crawls and moving up and down the tool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, now we're going to change things up just a little bit. Sword, again, movement on that suka, the handle, is pretty much for now. I'm just going to say that we're going to focus on it this way, and we might actually switch it around. But you see this actually in a couple different sets where you have yourself this position, okay, and then we have this position, okay. You actually, some of you guys have seen in the advanced set. You might have even seen this version when you're coming back here like this and you're going for your stab going to the back. Very rarely will you see it in this position. In the left hand, I feel kind of like, I feel out of place. What is this hand supposed to do? So I'm going to just say, I don't think there's too many left-handed samurais out there. But you notice that, I do have myself a good steady grip here. And on the bottom, I do like to see that I've got some space. I don't want to see that the hands are right next to each other. So when I see this shows me that you've got good command of that. And when I'm doing this motion, I have a pulling and a pushing motion, kind of like I'm fishing. What I'm not doing is I'm not chopping logs, okay? I'm definitely not like chopping in this direction. But you notice that the hands will both have a kind of dedicated position. And as I move them around for different cuts, then you might find slightly different, but there's certain places that you just don't do. Again, you're not grabbing any of this. Okay. All right, Ms. Staff, I need you one more time, ma'am. All right, now time for the fun part. All right. There you are. All right. All right, so now, we do some basic blocks. Right? Okay. Everyone have their tool at home, or they're just watching?
Some of them have their tools, Tabby, and we would like to go over our homework again one more time.
Sure, we can do that. Okay. I haven't kind of really given out the homework quite yet. Not exactly what I want done. And I got some guys that are chuckers, some guys that are staff, some guys that are sword, and each of you guys are actually going to have the same assignment with this. First things first is I want you to feel comfortable in any shape with your tool, just like you would be comfortable with a middle block, a high block, a down block. That it's not one of those things where it's like, wait a second, I don't know what shape that would be. We just did the high block, middle block, and down block with the tool. So now let's go to Chun B. Give yourself some space so we're not going to hit each other. All right, so Chun B, this pretty much looks like Chun B that you would see in basic form. Other than that, I mean, hers looks pretty close. Mr. Ben's looks pretty close. You know, if you wanted to, you could say that's Chun B. All right, so now we're going to do a basic form facing towards the camera. And what we're going to do is what we interpret it as our basic form, just the first couple moves up to the down block, maybe the kick and punch. All right, so first thing that we're going to do from Chun B is our middle block. Ready? All right, now this is my version of the middle block. May not be yours. That's Mr. Ben's middle block, looks pretty close. All right, Miss Joanna's middle block looks pretty close. All right, high block and punch. Okay, now, again, my version might be different than yours. Mr. Ben has a high block punch. Looks like she's got a punch there. Okay, other side middle block. Make sure you look first. Don't hit anything. Ready? Okay. All right, now go slow. Hold the high block when you do the step. Ready? Boom. Okay, now from this position, does it look like your high block? Are you satisfied with that? All right, now go ahead and finish up with the punch. Okay. All right, down block. Whatever you want for your down block. Ready? All right, now kick and punch. Don't kick your tool. Don't kick your tool. Okay. If you feel like you need to move the tool out of the way, like it'll be very bad for me to kick this. I kick. I feel comfortable that I'm not going to hit anything right there. Bad. Understand? Right. Well, this will be bad for that. It's on your toe. All right, here goes. Snap, kick, and punch. Ready? Okay. And relax. Okay. So what do you think the homework's going to be? Honestly, I want you to be able to do the entire basic form with your tool. So you got chucks, you got staff, you got sword, and it shouldn't really matter what tool it is. And as a matter of fact, what shape it is really up to you. If I said, show me a snap, kick, punch, you're not going to go, you know, here's my snap, kick, punch. No, so there is a limit to this. It's got to look like the shape. Don't take so much liberty that you totally change the move to something completely else. I should go and say, I can see that's a middle strike. I can see that's a high strike or a low strike. And then you got kicks and punches. You got some turnarounds. So my first and foremost, my homework is demonstration of the tool with your basic form. Put the two together. Give me a basic form with the tool. Make sense? Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to have you relax back there and make sure we can answer some questions. All right. You can just put that tool down for a second. All right. The next thing I want to say is that you guys are all able to apply some basic strikes. So I like to see a high block, a middle block, and a down block, walking style, that you could be able to apply. All right, so just put that down just for a second. All right, we're going to pretend. All right, you're not going to pretend when you do this at home, but you're going to pretend. Okay, show me a high block, what it would look like with a pair of chucks in your hands. Okay, all right, so he's pretending, he's visualizing this. Okay, all right, show me a high block with a sword, what a sword would look like when you cut, and show me the same kind of version of high block. Okay, again, there's this high block here. Okay, and reset, and show me a high block for a staff. Bang! It's all the same shape. How it got there is a little different, but it's, again, the attitude of the move. All right, so relax. All right, show me a middle block version with the chucks. Boom! Okay, he's striking on the butt end. Okay, give me a middle block version for the sword. Good. Okay, now I'm going to turn you sideways a little bit. It doesn't look like this. I know that. But this movement right here is a middle strike. You'd say, wait a second, Mr. Erik, that's a forearm block. And we don't do this thing here. You have to reach outside the box a little bit. So when he's saying this is his middle block, this move might rotate to be able to satisfy your interpretation. Okay, show them towards the front a staff version of a middle block. Okay, this just so happens that this did have a bend to it. All right, last one, down block with a pair of chucks. Good. Okay, down block with a sword. Okay, he's cutting. Okay, looks still like a down block. Down block with the staff. Good. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so now I'm going to spell out the homework 100%. I don't want to hear any, I do want to hear questions, but I want to make sure there are no questions that it's clear. I want basic form with your tool in your hand. Everyone should understand that part.
Right.
All right. I would also like to see a high, middle, and low block interpretation with your tool. Okay? I don't want you to think like, oh, well, you know, okay, I got this high block, you know, I got this middle block, I got this down block, okay, there's my moves. I want some intensity behind it. I want to make sure that you got some commitment behind it. Okay? And then lastly, make sure that you guys pick up that tool. So right now, yeah, we're at a time where we have a lot of time on our hands. We might not have the ability to go outside today. We had ourselves a pretty good rainstorm, so that would be a bad day to go outside. Maybe in your galoshes and your raincoat, practicing hardcore.
Right.
But you know, when we got sunshine outside, go outside and practice this thing. Practice it on the grass. Practice it in your feet. Practice it in your shoes. Practice it so that way you're saying, you know what, I'm able to go outside this box. A couple of side notes. Those are the submissions I want to see. I'd like to see basic form with your tool, high block, middle block, and down block with your tool. Everyone should be clear with that, correct? Thumbs up? Yes. All right, now, the other things I like to see is that you're able to move around the tool. So with my staff, my guys, I should see this. You don't have to submit that. I like to see that you can slide. I like to see that you can move up and down the tool. I like to see that you can move around your tool and navigate it so that way you're able to use it to its fullest extent. Chuckers, you know about crawling and sliding, okay? And then sword, I'm gonna have to say that when I make these moves, if I was to cut here, and some of you guys know this thing where you spin around here and you do that kind of thing right there, and you're coming over like that, okay? Guys, you should know that, all right? Make sure that you guys are navigating it properly, that you're not simply just going, okay, I let go this way, let go that way, and it feels awkward. It shouldn't, okay? Got a question back there?
On the middle block, on the sword, which way does the sword blade face?
Totally up to you. All right. Which way does the sword blade face? It's like saying, I'm gonna punch at you. So all right, block my punch.
Right.
Fuck. Okay. Turn your hand over. Fuck. All right. Turn your hand a different way.
Right.
Okay. Those are all blocks. How you interpreted it is going to be up to you. So here's 3 examples. Okay. This is a cut. This is the block. There's a cut. All of them were versions of, there's my middle block. There's my middle block. There's my middle block. So what would be the purpose of the mune? Maybe I don't want to hurt you. Maybe I don't want to injure you. Maybe I don't want to cut you. Okay? Is it possible I could strike you with the back of it? Absolutely. That's the non-lethal side. All right? If I was to block like things like this, some of you guys know some advanced katas where you see this thing right here. All right? Well, I'd say this is, you know, you're not coming here. You're coming up here. All right? But again, there's no right or wrong. Tell you what. Tell me how you're applying it, and then I'll give you the answer. That'd be a good way of looking at it. So I'm blocking this. We're on time. All right. I know. I get excited when I talk about tools. It's fun stuff. All right. Practice hard. Practice safe. Make sure it's okay with mom and dad. When you're practicing outside, I like to see that kata. I want to see some commitment behind that basic form. Okay? All right. Well done today, guys. One sound. Hands behind the back. Ready? Yep. Thank you for teaching me. And you're dismissed from ASK.